Question 566. Information from a Chapter 7 bankruptcy are kept on credit records for A. 5 years, B. 7 years, C. 10 years, D. Forever. Correct answer is C. 10 years. Chapter 7 and Chapter 13 bankruptcy are the two main types of personal bankruptcy available in the United States, but they operate very differently. 1. Chapter 7 bankruptcy, liquidation. This is often referred to as straight bankruptcy. It involves the liquidation of a debtor's non-exempt assets by a trustee, who then distributes the proceeds to creditors. The goal of Chapter 7 is to obtain a discharge of most unsecured debts, such as credit card debt, medical bills, and personal loans. There's a means test to qualify for Chapter 7, ensuring it's used by those with limited income. While it offers a relatively quick way to eliminate many debts, typically within 4-6 months, you may have to give up some of your assets. Chapter 7 remains on your credit report for 10 years. 2. Chapter 13 bankruptcy, reorganization. This is known as a wage earners plan or debt adjustment. Instead of liquidation, Chapter 13 allows debtors with a regular income to create a repayment plan to pay back a portion or all of their debts over a period of 3 to 5 years. You get to keep your assets, including your home and car, as long as you adhere to the repayment plan. Chapter 13 can be beneficial for those wanting to catch up on missed mortgage or car payments. It's a more structured and longer process than Chapter 7, and it stays on your credit report for 7 years. You must have a regular income to qualify for Chapter 13. Here's a breakdown of how long different types of negative information typically stay on credit reports under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, FCRA. 1. Chapter 7 bankruptcy. 10 years from the filing date. 2. Chapter 13 bankruptcy. 7 years from the filing date. 3. Most other negative information, late payments, defaults, etc. 7 years from the date of the original delinquency. 4. Public record information, lawsuits, judgments, etc. can vary, but often 7 years from the date of the action or until the statute of limitations expires, whichever is longer. 5. Criminal records generally do not appear on credit reports. 6. Positive credit history can remain indefinitely. Question 567. The secondary mortgage market refers to A. Minor market, B. Market not as profitable as the primary market. C. Market to buy and sell existing mortgages that are pooled together, D. Market for training mortgage brokers. Correct answer is C. Market to buy and sell existing mortgages that are pooled together. The secondary mortgage market is where previously originated mortgage loans are bought and sold. These loans are often bundled together into mortgage-backed securities, MBS, and sold to investors. This process provides liquidity to the primary mortgage market, where loans are initially made, allowing lenders to free up capital and issue more mortgages. The secondary mortgage market is a massive and crucial part of the overall financial system, not a minor market. Profitability can vary between primary and secondary mortgage markets depending on various economic factors. It's not accurate to say one is consistently less profitable than the other. The training of mortgage brokers occurs through licensing programs and on-the-job experience, not within the secondary mortgage market. Question 568. The agency confirmation statement must be A. Signed prior to or at the time the parties enter into a contract, B. A separate document than the purchase agreement, C. Recorded, D. All of the above. Correct answer is A. Signed prior to or at the time the parties enter into a contract. While it can be a separate document, the agency disclosure and confirmation can also be incorporated as a section within the purchase agreement itself. While it can be a separate document, the agency disclosure and confirmation can also be incorporated as a section within the purchase agreement itself. There isn't a strict requirement for it to always be a standalone document. The agency confirmation statement is generally not recorded. Recording is typically reserved for documents that affect title to real property. The agency disclosure pertains to the relationship between the parties and the agents involved in the transaction. California law mandates that the agency relationship disclosure and confirmation must be made prior to or at the time the parties enter into a contract, such as a purchase agreement or a lease. This ensures all parties are aware of whom the agents represent from the outset of their contractual relationship. Question 569. California's Fair Employment and Housing Act prohibits discrimination in all aspects of housing, except for housing specifically designed to accommodate A. Children, B. Senior citizens, C. Individuals with special needs, D. There are no exemptions from the Act. Correct answer is B. Senior citizens. California's Fair Employment and Housing Act, FEHA, prohibits discrimination in all aspects of housing. However, there are limited exemptions, primarily for housing specifically designed to accommodate senior citizens, provided it meets certain criteria under the law. These criteria often involve age restrictions and the provision of services tailored to older adults. This means that such housing can legally discriminate against families with children. Housing designed for children or individuals with special needs generally does not have broad exemptions from FEHA's anti-discrimination provisions. Question 570. Failing to perform as agreed upon under a contract is known as an A. Rescission, B. Novation, C. Breach, D. Redemption. Correct answer is C. Breach. Rescission is the cancellation of a contract, as if it never existed. It's a way to undo the agreement, not a failure to perform under it. Novation is the substitution of a new contract for an old one, or the substitution of a new party for an existing one in a contract, with the agreement of all involved. It's a way to modify or replace the original agreement, not a failure to perform it. In a real estate context, redemption typically refers to the right of a borrower to reclaim property after a foreclosure sale by paying the outstanding debt and costs. It's not related to the failure to perform contractual obligations in general. Breach of contract occurs when one or more parties to a valid contract fail to fulfill their obligations as outlined in the agreement. This can involve not performing a specific action, providing substandard performance, or failing to meet deadlines. Question 571. When a married couple, both persons under 18 years old, make a real estate contract, it is considered A. Valid, B. Void, C. Valid once at least one of the spouses turns 18, D. Non-enforceable. Correct answer is A. Valid. According to California law, married persons under the age of 18 are considered emancipated minors. Emancipated minors have the same legal capacity to enter into contracts as adults, and they cannot later disaffirm those contracts simply because they were under 18 at the time of signing. Therefore, when a married couple, both persons under 18 years old, make a real estate contract in California, it is considered valid. Question 572. Nancy signs an apartment rental lease which contain a covenant against assignment of the lease without consent of the lessor, Lenny the landlord. Nevertheless, Nancy assigns the lease to a friend without gaining Lenny's consent. The assignment is A. Void, B. Voidable, C. Illegal, D. Unlawful, punishable by a civil fine against Nancy, the would-be assigner. Correct answer is B. Voidable. A covenant against assignment in a lease means that the tenant, Nancy, is prohibited from transferring their leasehold interest to another party, her friend, without the landlord's, Lenny's, permission. However, if Nancy proceeds with the assignment without Lenny's consent, the assignment is generally not automatically void. Instead, it is voidable at the option of the landlord, Lenny. Lenny has the right to take action to terminate the lease with Nancy because she violated a covenant in the lease agreement. Lenny could pursue legal action for breach of contract. The assignment is effective between Nancy and her friend unless and until Lenny takes steps to void it. Nancy has effectively transferred her rights and obligations, to the extent the law allows in an unapproved assignment, to her friend. Lenny can choose to accept the assignment. If Lenny acknowledges the friend as the new tenant, e.g., by accepting rent directly from the friend, he may waive his right to void the assignment. Question 573. A solemn formal declaration by a person under the penalty of perjury that her statements are true is called a affirmation, b. affidavit, c. declaration, d. announcement. Correct answer is a. affirmation. An affirmation is a solemn and formal declaration that something is true, made by a person who conscientiously objects to taking an oath. Legally, an affirmation carries the same weight and has the same binding effect as an oath. By affirming, the person is declaring the truthfulness of their statement and acknowledges that they are subject to the penalty of perjury if they lie. In essence, it's a way for individuals to formally and truthfully state something without using the traditional language associated with swearing an oath, often for religious or personal reasons. Affirmations are commonly used in legal proceedings, when signing official documents, or in any situation where an oath would typically be required. Question 574. When a broker balances his trust account with his bank statement, it is called a. restitution, b. reconciliation, c. balancing action, d. clearance. Correct answer is b. reconciliation. Restitution refers to the act of returning something to its rightful owner, often used in the context of resolving a breach of contract. Balancing action is a general term and doesn't specifically refer to the process of comparing a bank statement with account records. Clearance can involve settling financial obligations. It's not the specific term used for the process of balancing a trust account. Reconciling a trust account involves comparing the records maintained by the broker, checkbook register, with the official bank statement to ensure all transactions are recorded accurately and there are no discrepancies. It's a crucial process for financial accountability and identifying potential errors. The BRE states that brokers should reconcile their cash record with bank statements on a monthly basis, keeping a separate record for each beneficiary transaction. Question 575. A broker's classified advertisement for a home he has a listing for includes the following information: 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, fireplace, patio, hot tub. Price is $350,000. Call 555-385-8764. This is an example of a display ad, b. blind ad, c. specific ad, d. California Realtors Association ad. Correct answer is b. blind ad. A blind ad is a real estate advertisement that fails to identify the broker or the brokerage firm responsible for the advertisement. In California, real estate advertising regulations require brokers to clearly identify themselves or their brokerage in any advertising of listed properties. The advertisement you described includes specific details about the property and the price, along with a phone number to call. However, it does not mention the name of the real estate broker or brokerage firm. This omission makes it a blind ad, which is generally prohibited in California to ensure transparency and accountability in real estate advertising.